Discipline is something many people think they have, but most people actually lack. So there's a lack of self restraint and focus on more significant things in our lives. So people tend to go wayward one way or another, whether it's their health, whether it's their career, the way they interact with people. So and often it comes down to a lack of accountability, which is a huge thing. And all those things, of course, matter. Our health matters for our ability to even exist and live. Our ability to focus on our career helps us be sustainable and helps us drive towards goals and dreams. And of course, discipline in our own life, the way we interact with people, is going to be hugely important because otherwise you're going to get yourself into all sorts of drama and situations that they weren't even necessary. Naturally, as you grow and propel, people will try to attach themselves to your name, to you. They'll gossip, they'll create situations to give themselves relevance. So it's important to stay disciplined and not give energy and power towards those people because so many people are opportunistic. But of course, like I say, there's many areas of our lives. I just want to show examples of the discipline I have within myself that maybe people are not aware of. And hopefully it gives a bit of reflection on other people. So I'm not here to say, be like me, do what I do. It's just an awareness to say, look, this is what I used to be like. This is what I am now. This is where I've grown. And do you think, for instance, just looking on, that seems positive growth and worthwhile? Or is it a waste of time? Because then it's worth reflecting on our own lives, isn't it? So when we go over and look at ourselves, what are my daily habits? How do I cope with the world? And think to yourself, is there something you can perhaps change that will yield better results, especially sustainably, like long term? Because that's often what it is. Sometimes we're quite self defeating because we don't see immediate results. So if you think you're sacrificing something that's maybe part of who you are to a degree, or something that gives you some self gratification, even if it's just very briefly, the idea of losing something that makes you feel good, and when you're not seeing positive results from that, like from removing it, doesn't really make you feel too comfortable, of course. But again, discipline is, in my opinion, discipline is all about structure, and it's allowing us to have a schedule that works in our favor. So it does mean we have to be a bit more calculating, I guess, and yeah, being a bit more stubborn, I guess, with certain aspects of ourselves, but other people. So setting boundaries, all these different things. Not even just boundaries with others; it's boundaries within ourselves. So like I say, there's so many aspects. We've got career, we've got the way we treat people, we've got even our health. Now, I'm not going to sit here and suggest I'm the most healthy person in the world. I've had terrible tendencies throughout my life, and I've been rectifying them. But it doesn't mean I gravitate towards healthy options. But I just think if I reduce my intake of unhealthy options, that can only be a positive catalyst. And I do my best. And of course, look, discipline, I think it's really important. Discipline is, again, for me, it's a structure. So it's having a schedule. But I don't think you have to be so regimented to it. It's not something where you'd say, for instance, I can only indulge in this, and then I can only have so much of this indulgence. And there's nothing wrong with having a bad day. So maybe you have more. So like, I've got a few examples here. This is a bit like nothing. I don't usually do this. It's a bit mental to me to have props, but I really think it's important because, like, I just want to touch it. Because again, I'm going to touch on my habits, and people probably won't realize how bad my habits were. But having said that, there'll be people with far worse habits, and that's just what I want to raise awareness to. It's not about singling people out and making them feel insecure and bad about themselves. It's just to have an accountability to say, look, this isn't really sustainable. I've abused my body long enough, and it's about time I just started to ease it back a little bit. No one's saying like in my opinion, I don't say that people should just be miserable. So I'm not a health fanatic. Believe me, it'd be beautiful if I was, but I'm not. So what's the options I have? I can detox myself entirely, push myself to be a different person that would probably make me a bit miserable, which I don't see the benefit of. Yeah, might get a few more years, but I don't see myself being miserable just for the potential to get another 3 years out of life when anything could happen at any moment in terms of accidents and things. So you see it all the time. People, sometimes it's those who maybe don't have the best lifestyle actually end up living longer, which is strange as hell, isn't it? But again, that's one aspect we've already discussed. There's other areas towards our discipline, and I'm going to try not to lose track because I've made no notes, as I don't do. And I've got to try and stay on point. So fortunately, I've got my screen in front of me, so I can actually see me and I can see my books. So hopefully, by me talking about that sort of stuff after, I won't lose track. Also got a second screen, which I'll display in a moment, And that's just about this opportunity I'm looking to pursue. And again, I think that just shows a disciplining career. But we're going to start off with food because I think food's important. This is only one side of me, by the way. I've got other indulgences. So anyway, we're going to be simplifying this. This isn't like some big grandiose video. It's just me being transparent with people, how I live in my daily life, but what I used to be like. And even now I think to myself, oh, you've got to stop with that. You've got to stop with that. But then I have a little bit of reflection and think, mate, you're doing well. Yeah, you should probably, in the ideal world, would never consume anything bad. But I know that my intake of sugar, for instance, is far less than it ever was. Like, I was bad. To put it into perspective, like I know in America they have even bigger bottles of Coca-Cola. I could drink a whole bottle of 2 liter Coke in a day. Like, and I did that for quite a while. You just fill a pint glass up, fill it up, drink it with some ice, have another one. Because there was no accountability. That's just what I was doing. It was I like the taste. I'm drinking this shit, and that was for a long time. And that was the sugar, the full sugar one as well. That was for ages. I was doing things like that. I have cakes. I love cakes. But I'm a sugar person. You give me sugar, I'm taking it. So and that's just being honest. I'd have chocolate bars everywhere. I'd love chocolate. So I do recognise that that's not healthy and it's not sustainable. I think, especially when I was younger, diabetes wasn't something that was really taken serious. It wasn't really something. It was just something mentioned, but no one really knew. I don't think it was that prevalent in terms of knowledge. At least it wasn't to me. I knew the term, but didn't really think anything of it. I just figured that's what some people have. And as you get older, of course, metabolism drops and maybe other nutrients diminish and things. And maybe we're more susceptible to getting these issues. And so what happened was I have a similar eating habit to my mum, maybe perhaps even worse. I'm taller than her, so I have, well, one would say that I have a big, like she's 4'11" or something, 4'8". She's 10. She's quite small. I'm 5'11", so I'm nearly 6 foot. So of course I have more blood going around my body because I'm taller, So it means that, if you was drinking alcohol, one would then assume that I could probably consume more alcohol before I start feeling the effects. And then again, I might be wrong. I'm not a biologist or a freaking scientist or a health fanatic, or a doctor. I'm just assuming these things. I would assume then that perhaps I can have a little bit more sugar because I have more blood going around my bloodstream. Again, maybe I'm wrong. So she got diabetes, and it was worse than it was all news to her, and it was worse than she thought. Like she's took decisions to ease that. So she's been quite disciplined with it. Still has days when she wants something herself, but either way, she's quite disciplined with it. But it was more serious than she thought. So when she went to the doctor, they were like, "Well, I'm surprised you're still here," and it was like that was quite a shock to the system. So when I found out about that, of course, I'm concerned for her, and I'm saying that you need to take it serious. Then, it's not going to be easy. And immediately, then, of course, after that, you're thinking about your own lifestyle and your own habits, thinking, I'm similar to her the way I eat. I like my sugar. So immediately, I recognize the dangers within my own life if I don't take it serious. Like, I haven't been given a warning by the doctor, but I barely see the doctor. Like, I could go to the doctor now, and they're probably I wouldn't say they're scared share me because I'm not really someone that really gets terrified of things like that. Like, life is life. But I'm sure something would come up, and it's just like, well, rather than wait for them to say it to me, then it's best I take it a bit serious myself, So I've been easing off things, and of course I like my sugary things, so I like my cakes, and I'm still going to eat my cakes. I can't imagine a life where I just take it off entirely. But if, for instance, I'm still quite bad. Like if I get shopping now, I'll still get we get 4 donuts. I don't think they're huge, but like chocolate donuts. I like chocolate donuts. Who don't? I love cinnamon. Don't get me started on cinnamon. I'll eat the whole lot, regardless of the consequence. But again, that's a lack of self-control. It's an area I need discipline, but you give me cinnamon and that discipline goes out the window. So we all can have our vices. I mean, I'm serious. My daughter had it, was doing a FaceTime, and I was losing my shit that she had a discipline. She had a cinnamon bun, and I had nothing. I was like, I need that cinnamon bun now. Don't do that to me on camera. And I was getting really annoyed. That's why I'd like to be transparent. Like she had a waffle. She showed me a waffle she had when she went out. I've got a really expensive waffle maker. It's over £100. It's fully like metal. It's a Sage one, so it's a brand. It's really nice. And I haven't had waffle mix for a while. I've not done them. And I was immediately like, I need waffle. I need waffle now. So I've ordered it off Amazon. The waffle mix costs like nearly £10, and it's come the next day. I still haven't done it because I forgot. But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So look, I'm not saying I'm sugar free or I don't have nice indulgences. There's certain things that have thrown me through a little bit like that. But in the past, for instance, I could have like the 4 donuts that come through the door. I could eat them throughout the day. You just don't think about it. That tastes nice. Oh, I fancy another one. And then maybe even a couple hours later, I could go through the whole pack myself. I could have jam donuts as well. Like, I could just go mental. And it's you're not even thinking about it. Then I could have some then I can have some chocolate bars. I could have another cake. It's not because it's throughout the day. If it's a weekend day, you're just chilling out anyway. So I don't really care. Now look. I'm not saying I'm perfect because this is the thing. I think it's important to be honest. So if let's say you get 4 chocolate donuts, I now discipline myself, and it does take restraint. Believe me, I could devour the whole lot. I have 2, so I'm not saying I only have 1, and I don't really. No, I'll eat. I can't help it, but I can if I wanted to. I just don't see the point. I'm like, it's surely it doesn't make much difference. So I have 2, and then I save the other 2 for the next day. And I am disciplined with that. Like I won't touch them because I'm very like if I draw a line somewhere, it's I won't budge on it because that's for me. It's like you've set that now. Do not break that habit. Don't do that to yourself, right? So I will only have 2, and I know people might think, well, you shouldn't even have any, but I still think 2's better than 4. You know, and I think if I split them over multiple days, it's just less abuse that day. You know, and I just want to show that. And where I said I could go through a whole 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola. And I've changed to cans because it gives me accountability. I know how much I'm drinking if I have a can. A bottle, I'll just go through it. You just don't even realize. So now I buy cans, and I used to have even a few cans of them a day. So let's say I had like 3 or 4. That was still like there's 330 milliliters to a can. So about 3 of them is really going to be nearly a liter. And I'd probably drink 3 or 4. I could go through 3 or 4 cans a day. You'd have one at this time, one at this time. Now I won't have more than 1. And that's me. I won't have more than 1. There's obviously a cost factor, but it's not that. It's an accountability to myself to say, if you want a can, it's an indulgence for the day. You're not having more than 1. So unless now there's an extension to this, of course. If you let's say you're out and about, you're having a good day, you just enjoying a day out. I don't really care then. I'm just going to enjoy myself. If I buy a little bottle of Coca-Cola, I might have it then. If I'm hot and I want another drink, I might get another one, or I might get a Dr. Pepper. I really don't, in that environment, I don't care. Because I'm out and about, I'm just enjoying myself. It's not a big deal. You can have a day where you have just indulgence, you know. But at home, I will only have like the 1 can of Coke. This one should be the sugar-free. Yeah, 0 sugar. Now, I keep hearing things that are bad for 0 sugar. I don't know what's better, the 0 sugar or the bloody full one. On the one hand, this has probably got things in it that you shouldn't have. And then the other side is if you get the full sugar one, it's too much sugar in it. Bloody nightmare. But yeah, so I only have 1 can. And sometimes I don't have a can, but I probably do. But I mean, there are days when I won't. I drink a lot of tea in the UK. I have sugar with that. I can't have it without sugar. But these are things that are non-negotiable with me. I can probably try and reduce how many I have in a day. Find a bit of discipline there. I have 1 coffee in the morning. Not every day, but most days I'll have just 1 when I wake up. I like that. Makes me feel good. But I used to have more throughout the day, but now I've realised it's quite a higher caffeine level. There are decaf ones, but I prefer the normal one, you know. So I'll have just the 1 in the morning for the most part. And then I have tea. But I do have decaf teas now as well because I didn't realise tea has an awful lot of caffeine as well. So I found that out, did a little bit of research, bought the decaf ones. They're more expensive. You get less tea bags in it, so you're going through them quicker. So now I'm finding a balance. I bought the normal ones to have during the day. And then once a certain time comes, like in the evening, I'll switch to the decaf ones. That way I'm not trying to keep myself up at night. There's a bit of discipline there, isn't there? A bit of balance. Again, these are little things I'm doing to change my life, you know, and it might seem silly, but not really big deal, but it's leading towards a more sustainable lifestyle, isn't it? Like someone might say, like, you're still having a can of Coke, but like I'm not abusing my body to the same. So like my liver, kidneys, I don't know which part of the body really suffers, but it's not being hammered as bad now, is it? Like, and when I say 2 chocolate donuts, it's really just shopping day. And I don't get shopping every week. I normally do like every 2 weeks. So let's say I have 2 chocolate donuts. It's likely only on a Saturday every 2 weeks. And then on the Sunday as well. So like that weekend. So every 2 weeks, it'll be on a weekend. That's it. 2 donuts there, 2 donuts there. And then I've got no more cake. So I don't think it's that bad a deal. It's nice to have an indulgence. Now, there are exceptions. Now, this annoys me. This is in the UK. These are just examples. I don't have these all the time. So our chocolate bars are a joke. Like when we get, I used to be bigger. Now they're getting smaller and smaller. And it annoys the living shit out of me personally. I get angry. But then I think, well, actually, from a sugar point of view, it's actually helpful. But it does annoy the shit out of me. And I don't think Americans would put up with this. So if we go into the store, the shop, whatever you want to call it, you get the full-size chocolate bars, but they're expensive. The retail-size chocolate bars are actually really expensive. So you're better off just buying multi-packs. But they've made the multi-packs where they're smaller variants, but it's still better value for money overall. So it's freaking annoying. There used to be full-size bars in the packs. They've reduced and reduced and reduced. Now we've got this shitty one. Now this is usually twice as big as this in the shop. Twice as big. It annoys me. It's tiny. It should be out here. You know? It's a joke. That's minimal. But you get 2 little bars in there, but I like Twixes. Now, I could eat a whole load of these. This comes in a pack of 9, which is pretty good. And they're about £3. £3 for a pack of 9, right? But I don't even have them every day. But in the past, I would eat quite a few of these in one day. I'll just go through them throughout the day. So I would be eating a few of these. I'd be going for about 3 or 4 cans of these. And we'd have crisps, or like chips, whatever you want to call them in America. And that would be my habit. And of course, donuts and cakes as well. But I'm quite disciplined now. No more than that a day, one. Don't even do it every day, although most days I would. No more than one of these a day. Again, why not have one? And I think that's great. Now, there are exceptions, because there's sometimes we get a treat and we really like them, and I just bought these, and I've bought 2 packets because I thought I'd like them, and I've eaten the whole packet in 2 days. And I want to show a different... Actually, before I get to that, I want to show you. I like biscuits or cookies in America. I like biscuits. I have different ones I like. I like chocolate ones. I like all sorts. And I've started doing this, it might seem a bit mental, but I get fed up. You open a packet, and sometimes if you've left it or they've been open for a bit, they start going soft, and I can't handle that. I hate it when they do that. It's just ruined. And then you think, how long have they been opened? It's like, oh, God's sake. So now I get this sealable pot, and I open the pack I'm on at the minute, I open and put in here. So we've got custard cream ones there, then we've got the chocolate ones there. That make me look like an animal, I get it. But I actually ain't. I'm not. I'll only have... It depends on the day, but I might only have maybe 5 biscuits in a day. I just use it with my drink when I have my tea. Sometimes I might have a few more, but I don't go through a whole packet in a day. I used to. I used to go mental. I love them. That was my alternative to chocolate bars because I realized it was better value. You get more. Didn't realize the level of sugar in them, by the way. So I'd go mental eating them. Now I'm disciplined. So yeah, I don't go mad. They just look worse because they're in a pot. But I'll only sit there now. Because for instance, let's say I've eaten 3 biscuits. Let's say I'm watching YouTube or I'm sitting at my desk, I'll do something, or I'm sitting watching telly. I'll have my drink. I like dipping them in my tea. And some people think that's terrible. I actually like it. So I dip it in my tea and I have about 3. And then I recognise, because now I'm fully aware of sugar, mainly because of my mum. So now I'm like really deeply aware of it. So I know you shouldn't be going mad with that. I'll show you. So I had my little treat. Because you could eat the whole lot and you'll still feel no better than if you just had 3 anyway. You know, it's a psychological thing a lot. This is where an exception was. I ate the whole pack of this in 2 days. Yeah, pretty much. This is these chocolate things. Obviously, it's not that crazy many in there, but it just means I went through half a pack in one day, which is more than my normal quota, and then the other pack the next day. But they're so yummy, and I'm not happy I bought another packet of them. But I could probably easily go through that whole packet a day. So it's good I don't have a cupboard full of them. So maybe that's a good advice as well. Let's not buy cupboard fulls of shit because we will go mad if we have no control. This is something I absolutely like. One of my favourite chocolates. They got really expensive in the UK, but I still indulge sometimes because I like to be happy. But as you can see, I've got shopping Saturday. We're on Tuesday now. And I don't anticipate opening these till the weekend. It's going to be like a weekend treat for me. Maybe I'll put a film on. Might mix them with my popcorn. I like to do that. Maltesers. This is the biggest box you can get. It used to be about £3 something. Now they're like £5. They can range up to £6 now. It's crazy. I won't pay that. Even in extreme circumstances, I just won't pay it. I think it's ridiculous. So I paid about £4.50 for it. But even then, it's a lot. But you do get a lot in there. And if you mix these with your popcorn, it's a real nice treat. But as you can see, I've not opened them. So I had them since Saturday. We're on Tuesday. I haven't opened them, and I don't envisage opening them till the weekend. They're just sitting in my cupboard. I'm not looking at them all the time. If I start eating these, I'll probably eat... In the past, I could go for the box. Just be honest. Now I go for about maybe a quarter of a box, a third of the box. Probably a third of the box. If I'm trying to enjoy them, I'll probably go for a third of the box, and I've got third and third. So again, as you can probably tell, I still have things I enjoy, but not in the same reckless manner. McDonald's is another thing with me. I like fast food. I like takeaway, fast food. My budget has been so tight that I can't anyway. But even without that, there was a situation recently. I found some cheap meals you can get at McDonald's, and I'm like, I can do that, and then you get reward points. And I had McDonald's. Let's say it was a Tuesday, and then I think it was Friday or something, Thursday, Friday. I fancy McDonald's again because you get cravings. It's annoying. Once you eat one, you're gonna want it again. And I started looking through the menu on my phone because I do that. You'd book it there, pay for it, and then go and collect it. It's easier, and you get the reward points. But I thought to myself, no, you don't need it every. You should only have, if you're going to have McDonald's, in my opinion, just discipline yourself just to once a week. Do not make it a daily thing. It costs you a fortune. It's not going to be good for you. But discipline yourself enough that it's a weekly treat if you want to do it like that. That's what, and I'm just practicing what I preach. That, for me, that's what I did. I was so tempted to just do it, but I thought, mate, you had it a couple of days ago. If you do it now, you're probably going to do it another 2 days, another 2 days, another. That's not helpful. That's financially terrible, but it's like in terms of like, you throw money down the drain, and also it's just not disciplined in any way, and it's not good for us. So no, I won't do that. I just made something to eat instead. Instead of myself, if you want that, you can have it later, and you can have it next week sometime as a treat. You know. Oh, my ears are terrible with these headphones all the time. I mean, so that's just some of the eating habits. I say, look, the reason I raise awareness is there's going to be other people who are heading towards diabetes already have it, and in some cases it can be reversed, but it's going to take discipline. It doesn't mean removing things entirely. I mean, it just means at least reducing it. So, like I think I had like heart palpitations before. That could be the high caffeine intake in the past, though. So I'm not sure. I can tell you what I had. I had tingling in my feet, but then I do have Raynaud's syndrome, so I have like a blood circulation issue to a degree. It's not like incredibly rare. I think they said 1 in 4 people have it anyway. But it just means with caffeine, it makes my blood vessels restrict a little bit more. So hence the decaf options in other things is useful. Me reducing my intake of Coca-Cola is definitely useful. You can get decaf versions, but again, there's other aspects of drinking it that's not good. So let's reduce that level. And I actually feel healthier. I feel so much healthier. So sometimes, like for instance, let's say I have 1 extra chocolate bar, or I have 1 extra Coca-Cola can or something. I actually feel annoyed with myself that it's not good. And I often feel that thing's pushed you into the diabetes risk now. I know but it's a mental thing. Like I'm in my head, it's like, you're risking this shit. Don't risk it. It's not worth it. And even with what I eat now, I think to myself, oh God, you got to stop, man. It's not good for you. Like I'm thinking it's terrible. But then I think, dude, great compared to what it was before. So sometimes I think, oh, you're having too much sugar. But I think to myself, well, compared to what I used to have, I'm bloody doing great. So sometimes ease that pressure to a degree. But again, like I said, I'm always trying to find ways to reduce it and reduce it and reduce it. But yeah, I'm not perfect. So I think that's really important just to get that across. Now, when we think about like career and the life we want, discipline is obviously going to be really important in that sense too, isn't it? Because otherwise we're going to relapse. We're going to waste our time. Life will pass us by and we wish we did something else and all this and this. Or maybe we didn't take an opportunity that we should have took, because those are things. So I think discipline is for me personally is staying focused on your task at hand and create a workable schedule that's going to achieve success in whatever way that is to someone. One person's image of success is going to be different to someone else. Some people want career, some people want family, but all of those aspects are true. It could be discipline in, for instance, how do we raise our children? Structure and routine is really important. If we don't stick to a structure or routine, then standards drop and then chaos ensues. Because it just stands to reason. For instance, if you're trying to teach your child to have manners, to behave in a certain way, to be respectful, and you keep curtailing that by not being disciplined with your approach, they don't know what the rules are. They don't know what the expectations are. So how can they, as they're learning the world, how could they possibly know what's expected of them or the right way to behave when it's not been ingrained? So discipline and consistency is so important. And that's like I say in that area. If we look at, so I mean, I'm just talking about like the way I've raised my daughter, for instance. For me, even when she was little, it was one of the main things for me was for her to feel loved, give her the attention. I never wanted her to feel like I'm not there for her in any way. So I'm always there. I'm not fed up talking to her. I'm not fed up playing with her. I love our time together. It's precious. It's the most happiest moments I am. Like when I'm doing anything, I wouldn't rather go off and do something else than spend time with her. You might have things even today. Like she could take up my whole day. She might do a FaceTime with me, and I'm thinking, oh, God damn, I better do this. And I had something fun planned for my day. I'm thinking this is going to be a good day. I've chilled out. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm relaxed. Next thing you know, I get a freaking phone call, and I'm like, damn, again. So sometimes it's quite. You think, going out now, but then we'll just talk the whole day, and then you walk away thinking, okay, I could have done this, I could have done that, but what was this and what was that? It was just a distraction from life, because like most things are, isn't it? It's just a way to entertain ourselves. So then, rather than worry about the things perhaps you may feel you'll have missed out on, it's like, was I entertained today? Yeah, we had fun chatting to each other, and it went on for hours. Like we do. Even the other day, she said that we've been talking for 7 hours. I go, well, we normally do. It's that mental. But so me, she's always had my undivided attention, and that's something I think is important, that she knows she can always come to me. It doesn't matter the time, whatever. Well, it does really. If I'm asleep, I'm not. You're not waking me up. Um, there's a level of structure there. But the other thing, of course, with her was really important to me was manners, and I don't want to be selfish. It's really important that you learn to be able to coexist with people. Because if you're selfish, you can't. Because people expect the world, but don't expect to give anything in return. So they think everything revolves around them. I didn't want her like that at all. So I don't want to stack up. I want a fair, balanced, mature, and have manners. And other things I ingrained of her early on. So I was teach. I've even got videos where I'm trying to teach her to share. And kids' natural reactions to take, and it's making them understand it can be just as fun and rewarding to you to give to me, and I'll give it back to you. You give it to me, I'll give it back to you, and it becomes a thing where they're used to just giving out a little bit rather than keep take. And at first, maybe they scream, maybe they get fed up. You've got to let them scream and get fed up, because they have to understand it doesn't all center on them. That's how the spoiled stuff comes. Also, that I used to say the word tar. I'll say tar, tar. And then she would do, I've got the video, it's so cute. And then she'd say ta, ta. Because, of course, from a little age, it's going to be a lot easier for her to say ta than say thank you when she's just learning to speak. But ta, she can do. Ta, ta. But, of course, as she grows and gets more mature and things, I can say to her the right words to say, like thank you and please. But these are important. So that's discipline in raising our children, of course. If you don't have that structure and you've got children biting you, screaming the house down, throwing tantrums, they've got no respect for anything at home, you do have to look at your own parenting skills and think, did I create that mess? Because, again, accountability. You can't expect, if a child is behaving in such that insane manner, you've got to think, what was the environment that it was curated in? People don't like it, but it's the reality. Children are learning from the moment they reach this earth, so as soon as they're here, it's up to us to mold and sculpt them, to give them the tools to be able to go out into the big wide world. So can't really blame a child for behaving this way if they haven't had any parameters set where they can actually thrive and actually understand the rules and the way to behave and be balanced, So I think that comes from our parenting, of course. So if my daughter was a maniac and absolutely over unhinged, I'd have to look at myself and think, how did that happen, and what could I have done different? But fortunately, I was mature enough to handle her birth and be there immediately to be able to set her on a path where she's structured, and she's the most beautiful human being I know. And I'm fortunate in that way, aren't I? But I feel like I've contributed immensely to it too. So between us, and of course her mother's had her input too. So we've had, multiple ways. Anyway, that's raising our children. Then we've got, of course, if we talk about career, if you look at what I do with the structure I have, I'm very disciplined, very, very disciplined. Now, I'll have days where, even long periods where I'm not creating. There'll be days and periods where I'm just chilling out, doing my own thing, and people think I'm lazy. But again, but the real problem with people is they get too bogged down by what other people are doing. They get obsessed by it. Oh, this person should be doing that. This person, stay in your own lane. What somebody else is doing, none of your business. What does it matter what your opinion is of it? Like, when it comes down to it, let's say, for instance, I spend days on end doing nothing. Let's say I want to play video games. Haven't actually been playing video games for the past few months. So it annoys me because I like games and I can't bring myself to do it. And it annoys me because I'm thinking I would love to play something, but it's almost like there's something in me just stopping me at the moment. And it annoys me because I'm thinking I just want to, but I can't even. It's a weird thing. But I don't fight against it, just to go with. But let's say, for instance, I was playing video games. And let's say, for instance, if I'm not playing video games, I'm messing about, I'm freaking just wasting time away, I'm watching films constantly, I'm doing it, whatever. Anything to distract from life, pretty much. And let's say someone didn't like that. It's just, who cares what they think? It's just important that we live our life true to ourselves, but of course, hold ourselves accountable. So it's not hold ourselves accountable because someone has a problem with it. That's irrelevant. People should focus on their own lives. How I choose to live my life is my business. I don't really care. And I'm quite strong like that, so I've never cared. If someone has an opinion of me, it's like you're just wasting your time talking about me, really. Talk about yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's like relevant. It doesn't influence me in the slightest. If anyone ever thinks they're having an influence on me by gossiping about me, they're deluded. It means they think they've got more relevance in my life than they actually have. It's insane. So rather than waste time focused on me, I'd say work on your own growth and fulfill your potential. What I do for me works for me, and that's the thing. But I have discipline in it, so I will have periods where I relax, be lazy if you like. I feel everyone deserves to be relaxed. That's the other thing. People think you've got to work yourself to death. That's not healthy. So I'll do things in moderation. Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll enjoy myself. Then when I feel it's time to go, like it's time to work on a project, I go. And I'll just go focused hell forever to finish the project. And it might be a month of my time where I can't do anything else. There might be a day here and there where I can relax, but for the most part, it'll be obsession. So there's a disciplined approach to when I have something that I know needs to be the center of my attention. And then I free myself after. So there's periods throughout. So people, when they see the work I do, they may think I work my ass off every day. No, I don't. I don't work my ass off every day. I'll still work in periods throughout the day, but I don't think I work as long as people think. But I do sometimes. So for instance, if we just break down, we're only in March now of the year. January for about 2 or 3 weeks. So let's say beginning of January, I had other things to work on. I used to get my car fixed. There's other things in life, I was visiting my mum at some distance. That was the beginning. Then all of a sudden I get home and I'm focused, and I took about a few days just to get settled back at home. And then I just went, right, let's get the book done. Expecting the end of February, but it come out the end of January. So there was like a 2.5, but there's it was really 2.5 weeks, but let's say 3 weeks. There was a 3-week window where I just went crazy doing this book. It was all my attention was book. So I'm working my ass off on it. As soon as the book's finished, I'm relaxing again. I'm watching some films. I'm chilling out. I'm back talking to my daughter all the time. She knows when I'm focused to leave me for a bit. Still ask me questions, but we won't be doing these FaceTimes. Too much to do, and it will drag my months out. Let's just let me focus now and let me do it. I did it. Now, as you can see with these videos, if you actually go back, because even I'm shocked, I've done 2 or 3 videos per day sometimes. Per day. After or before that video. So when I do my books, the videos dry up because my focus is just that. There might still be the odd video, but for the most part, it's just a book. Then I do these videos. But if you look at the length of the videos, that's all I'm doing. So you might think, oh my God, he's done 3 videos today. 3 videos is still only maybe 3 hours of work. So let's say, or I did 2 videos, 2 hours or an hour and a half. Either way, it's doable, isn't it? Because I'm doing it because it's consistent. It's consistent, but it's because I've got something to talk about. So I'm disciplined in what I feel I need to do at a given time. And I am building towards creating a legacy. So that's important. But I'm also relaxing as well. So I'm not like burnt out. I get tired sometimes, and it's more from the financial pressures from the lifestyle I live by. I live differently to everybody else to a degree. I'm focused more on fulfilling my dreams, my ambitions at the expense of traditional working life and culture and things like that. Because that's just taking yourself down a rabbit hole of living someone else's dream, isn't it? Let's say you've got a company boss. Their dream is to have this. Let's say it's logistics. They've got a warehouse. They've got all this logistics empire they're building. It's got all this transport, this infrastructure. The head boss, that's their dream. Their dream was to have this vision, and they want to make a lot of money from it. So now they're going to hire people to be able to enact that dream, which is good because it gives you a job, it gives you some money. But all that is doing, really, is giving you the very basics in life. You're nothing more than a minion serving this person. And I have my own dreams, though. Why is my life underneath their dream? No. I'm living my dream. I don't know. I'm putting it into that word now. I don't always think of it in that terms, but realistically, that's really deep down what it is. I'm not living someone else's fantasy. I'm going to live my own. So there are financial hurdles to overcome throughout that. And it does mean that, my life is hard as a consequence, but it's hard either way. You give up your dream, you live in someone else's shadow, you have to follow their rules, sit to their structure. Okay, you're financially rewarded, but you're miserable. I mean, it's what can you handle? I can handle financial hardship. I can't handle my freedom being removed and living someone else's life. I get fed up with it. So that culture of working drives me crazy over long periods. It's never sit right with me. Hence why I've been in and out of jobs in those periods. I only really stay in a warehouse for like a year or so. I can't handle it. I get bored shitless. I get fed up and resentful, and I need to get out of there. So they might think, why'd you jump in and out? Because crap. If you ask me where I see myself in 5 years, not here. And that's just honest. Like, I'm not here for that shit. I don't do it. It's not the point. If it gets me some money for the time being and gets me through a crisis, fine. but I won't be staying. And I know I won't be staying when I walk through the door. Unless by some miracle it's a great place to work and they really invest in people and there's potential to grow and who knows what the career path is. Most of them sell you a dream and they treat you like shit. So really it's about us building our own legacy, isn't it? Having discipline in our life to say, what is it I want for me? Now, if anyone sees what I do, I've really explained the routine to a degree. But yeah, okay, I have plenty of free time here and there, but I'm still accountable, aren't I? If you look at the work I've done, I keep losing count now. 7 books. And we've got 2 more coming, so it takes us to 9 books. At that point, I don't know what books, if any more books are coming in the near future or not. I expect another one later on in life, but I'm not sure. But from that point of view, I think it's been worth it. So even if it all come crashing down now, and I put myself in another one of those crap jobs for a year, it doesn't really matter because I feel like I've given a big portion of my life to fulfilling my dreams. Whether you get to live the benefit of that dream, like in terms of like, let's say sales of the books, it changes my life, gives you a platform to go off and do other things, but also money as well. That'll be beautiful, wouldn't it? But let's say I didn't get any of that. I would never look at it like that was a waste of my life. It was a life goal. When you're a little child and you have a dream of your life, everybody has a little dream. Mine I forgot about for a while. But when I was a little boy, I always wanted to one day write a book, and I wanted to typewriter. It was little things. I don't even think I told family members, anyone, that I wanted a typewriter. It seemed to me, because back then typewriters weren't a thing anymore. It was getting leaning towards computers. So typewriter to me seemed more of a fantasy. You know, it wasn't something I saw in shops. I just didn't even think it was possible to buy them anymore. I'd love to have a typewriter. I'd love to one day write a book. And of course, then things get in the way and you forget all about it. And then one day I managed to write my first book. And that led to another book. And then I've consistently honed in and enhanced the craft. And I've become quite good at what I do. And I also bought myself 3 typewriters. So I have 3 typewriters. I have a German typewriter from the 1940s, I think it is. 1940s, 1950s. I've got an American one that is from 1918, I think. It's a portable one. It folds up. It's pretty cool. It's pretty mad. And then I've got a British one, an Imperial something. I think that's from the 1930s. That one was broke when it arrived, but still pretty cool. So yeah, so I have things that we talk about from my childhood. I fulfilled a dream, and it's easy to look past that because life pressures get to us. But it was through my discipline and keep pushing forward and focusing and going after my dreams that I managed to make it possible. I'm not talking about the financial thing now because that's different. If we're talking about financial dreams, of course, who wouldn't want to be wealthy? You know, it's not about glamour. It's about just having a nice life, isn't it? But that's another side of a dream. That's not something many of us can expect. So I think to say I'm not fulfilled unless I'm a millionaire, I think is a bit wild. It'd be nice if, of course, we all get to be a millionaire. But we talk about fundamentals. What did you want for yourself, even from a child? Of course, it doesn't matter because you can evolve and you might be living a new dream now and you never thought of it and it's better than you could have imagined. That's beautiful. If you made that possible, that is beautiful. What I'm saying is from a fundamental level of me achieving something that was quite important to me that maybe I didn't think was possible, I've achieved that. And multiples. I only thought of one book. I only thought I'd write one book maybe one day. Soon it's going to be 9. It's insane. It really is. Let me see if I can get my website up a minute. Again, I'm not boasting here. I'm trying to just provide some context to show, look, go after. I mean, look, I've got multiple skills. This is the thing. I don't really talk about it all the time, but I've got skills, and I don't even think about it a lot of the time. It's maybe you have a conversation with someone, they get impressed. You go, oh, well, I didn't really think much of it. So before I started writing my books, I used to do video game content. And by extension, I wanted somewhere to put my gaming content. So, and I noticed back in the maybe mid-2000s, early 2000s, people started having websites. And I thought, I want that. I'd love to have my own website. And I've had terrible versions of them in the past, but I kept working on them and learning and learning and learning. So I'm not saying I'd create the best ones because I don't have the same passion for it I did back then. You know, it was constant. I just wanted somewhere to put things in. And because I've honed in on my books and the videos I do now, the website really is afterthought. Whereas earlier in my journey, it would have been my main priority. It was the thing I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to make a career out of web design. At one point, I thought that's something I could do. I'm good at this. I can do this. And it was something I had aptitude for and I was interested in. But once I really started going into the writing, it's like that. I realized I was almost fighting against it because it came natural. I'm someone that likes to challenge myself a lot. So web design really tested the shit out of me because there's so many things there. You've got security parameters, we've got web hosting. So there's a lot of administration that goes into it, that goes behind the scenes with this. And I was learning all that, and there's all sorts of techniques and things, and it's just interesting to me, and I was just throwing myself into it. So, but it's not something I really think about much. It's just something I do because I've done it for a long time. But it's just a thing, you know. So I can easily I can easily create websites now. I mean, I use WordPress now because it's just easier. But before I was doing it in different techniques and different tools and stuff. But WordPress is a lot simpler. But because I had that background, I can manipulate WordPress to a degree. So if there's a theme, I can customize it in other ways. I can move things and do different things to a degree. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but thankfully, because I had that background I created for myself before, I could do these things. So it's not complicated for me. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Plus, I've got the books. Plus, I can do the camera work now with this. So there's a lot of things I'm good at now, and it's because I've been disciplined and invested in me. That's been really important. So I recently had a video meeting with. I mean, I'm going to show the website in a minute, with Brains magazine, and they gave me this. They spoke to, we had a good conversation about 20, 30 minutes, and then we went through what their brand is about, what they can do. So do that. It's a paid partnership, so I have to. It would cost me money. I've spoken about it in another video. It's something I'm really, really looking into doing. In a couple of months, hopefully my finances will be able to support it, because I want to invest in me. Because that is, for me, that is fundamentally is what really important, is that we keep investing in ourselves and building our branding and building who we are, and just keep pushing forward. So when I was talking to them, they were really impressed that even though I haven't had my breakthrough and maybe seen success, I'm persistent, because that's what I said to him. I said, I do a book. There's usually something happening in society that I feel needs talking about, and I do it to raise awareness and to give people the tools to outgrow a circumstance. And then when you don't see success, for instance, it can be frustrating, but then I just focus my attention on the next project. I don't wait for success to catch up with me. I just keep going. So I've said that he said, because he said he checked my website out and he could see I'm doing 3 books this year. I just made the point that I worked on manuscripts last year, but I didn't release any books because I was a bit burnt out, to be totally honest. I've been doing this for so long. I wanted a break for me to a degree. And then it just means because the work was already started last year, I can now get it all done. So instead of 1 this year, I could just try and get them all done for this year. And I see no reason why that won't be possible. So I think they'll be all 3. And then that takes me into 2027 with no new projects on the horizon, really. I could, but I don't think it's necessary. I think once we've got all these done, so there's already 7, that would be mad to most people, I think, having 7 books. And then, so I'm saying, for instance, these, if you don't know what books to start with, these are probably going to be the ones I'd recommend you start with personally. So if you're dealing with personal trauma, that's my book. A Father's Daughter is my very first book. Spirituality, Do You Lose Your Mind to Find Yourself? You're looking for personal growth. My recent book, Follow Your Dreams to Sparkle Your Soul, I think is a great place to start. After that, you can look into the others. These are the books that are coming next. We've got Sight in Humanity book, which is Freedom and Politics. That's going to come out by July-ish. And my next spiritual book, A Star is Born, is going to come out at the end of the year. So obviously, I've already done the cover designs. It's already set. I've got the names. That's not changing. That's it. But as you can see, I've got projects that because I don't stop, I'm relentless. So that then takes me over to this collaborating with Brains magazine. Like I say, it's a paid partnership, so I have to pay to contribute. But it allows me to push myself into an area that I'm not familiar with, that takes me outside my comfort zone because I'm used to doing things for myself. In this way, look, take away the money I have to pay to contribute. It's just an opportunity I see for me to branch out and try something else. So instead of it being my platform, I contribute on another platform. Now, I am spiritual, and I don't like merging my content too much, but I did get my tarot cards out, so I was trying to figure out the point of it to a degree. And it did, when I asked a certain question, it came out very positive. Because it is paid, of course, you do have to have you are a bit reticent to it. You are thinking, is it viable? Does it make absolute sense, and all these things? Because everyone's going to have questions. So one of the questions I asked was, because first of all, like even if you think from a talent scout point of view, if you was a talent scout looking for people within the industry, where would you go? Of course, you might look at all those different places, but wouldn't a smart place to be if you was looking for talent? I'm not saying I'm looking to be talent scouted, but I'm just saying if you was looking for talent, surely you'd go where people are that are in the industry. And I think especially if people are prepared to fund their journey to a degree, like they're prepared to invest in themselves. For me, that shows a very proactive approach. So I'm not saying that's definitely what would happen, but one of the questions I asked with my cards was like, am I being am I being placed there because I will stand out because of my talents? I will stand out amongst the crowd. So I'm not saying I'm better than everyone else, but I know I'm really good at what I do. Would it make me stand out amongst other people? Because you'll either merge with everybody and you're all just similar and you're just like a load of fish just moving around, or is it that my work will stand on its own and it will be recognised because of what I can do? And it was yes, it'll put me in the spotlight. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. So that so I'm guessing the work I do will be of high quality then, But anyway, look, that's what I got from it. And think about it, it's a platform. It's a platform and it's something else for me to venture into. But again, this is discipline, isn't it? Because discipline is us going after, focusing on building towards our future and the career we want. And it's investing in ourselves. So that is me. I mean, I took a meeting. I was thinking of delaying it. I wasn't sure if if we should do it yet. Don't know who the person is truly on the other side because I was liaising with someone else. And then this is the person who decides whether you're going to be approved or not. Now, I don't know how the process works. Maybe they approve loads of people. Maybe they don't. Maybe you're very lucky to get in. Maybe everyone gets in because it's fees. So maybe if you're prepared to pay the money, you can get in. I don't know, but I can't worry about all those little things. All I can think about is what I can contribute. Am I happy with it? And where do I see myself in the future? And if this is a stepping stone towards that future, then that's all I can focus on, isn't it? I know I'm good enough. I don't have like an inferiority complex. I don't know if they're going to give me like content they want me to write. So let's say there's a niche and they need it filled and they think, could you do a topic or could you do an article on this, and this? Maybe it's like that. Or maybe it's a case of you can write 13 articles of your own, whatever you want to talk about within the industry to a degree. Like it fits in with what their messages are. Fine. But I know I can do that quite easily because I can do the chapters to my books quite easily. I could easily write an article quite simply. But that's my skill because I've been building towards it, And I mean, that's the thing. If people build towards their future, anything's possible. But there'll always be people telling you can't do this, you can't do that. But it's only us that can decide what we do. So I don't want to sort of waste anyone's time any much further, to be totally honest. But like I say, with this, like, there's all sorts of things. Obviously, they're talking about what their platform is, but it's like the things they can do for you. There's a couple of things personally I liked about this that I like because I can promote on my website and stuff, and all sorts. Obviously, search engine optimization is going to be useful because it means something you write could get seen far more than something most of my content's video or stuck behind a paywall of a book. So I could do it for my own website and do blogs, but I don't really bother. But I think having it on a different publication, I think it's useful. So you've got that, but also their ability to do this exclusive interview I quite like the look of, is the fact that you'll have a bit like that video chat I did. You'd have a meeting, I guess. There'd be a video chat. I'm guessing they do a transcript or something, or they just make notes, and they can make it a feature where they have a conversation with you about what it is that you can contribute to the industry and things. I think that'd be really cool. Like from a professional point of view, I really like the idea of that. I thought that'd be great because I honestly don't see myself doing loads of interviews in my lifetime because I don't really like all that. Really, I don't trust journalists and things. So I think something like this where you can have that's my interview. I can have that, put that on my website, like link to it, and then I don't see myself doing a million interviews elsewhere, in lifetime. I'm very simple like that. Again, I'm disciplined with my time. And then expert articles. So, they'll provide you a template so you can stick to it to make everything, very similar to their already branded. Then they'll go through it and they'll make it curated so it looks cool. They'll put the pictures on, I guess. I just think that's all cool. And press releases there. Look, so if I've got, let's say I've got a book coming out, you could use them and they can launch your book for you. They can do they can promote it on their social media and things, which I think is cool. And again, it's reaching new audiences. And like they said, something you do now, it will always stay there. So even long after your membership's expired, your articles will still exist. So it can still be gaining traction for years and years to come, which I think is quite useful. And then you get a profile page like this, and it'll have links to all the articles you've done, you contributed to on the website, their website, but also links to where I am as well. Again, it's like a professional hub, and I like that. So there is an award thing, but I'm not really too sure about that personally. And then I've got these little things you can do to add to your website. So like for the fact there's a fee, I know it might put some people off. But if you thought about having, like I said before, if you had an agent or a manager or someone to liaise with, then people don't work for free. To have these tools would cost a lot of money. It would elsewhere, it cost a lot of money. Just to get the breakthrough opportunity somewhere else, you probably end up having to have an agent, and that agent costs money. So this is just a cheap. I think this is just a cheap alternative that works for me. So because I'm disciplined with my career, I invest in me. So I will always do things that I feel are going to better me, even if people don't agree with it. But like I said at the very beginning, I think the proof is in the pudding. Like personally for me, I think it's only a matter of time before I get my breakthrough, before things really pick up. I don't doubt myself. I get fed up with circumstances sometimes. Never doubt myself. So, and I look at what I've done. I've positioned myself in a very strong place. So, for instance, someone else might have a similar meeting to what I had, and maybe they've got to over explain things. I didn't have to explain too much. I just spoke about a few topics that mattered to me. We spoke about that, and then things answered for themselves. Like, for instance, how comfortable do you feel writing? And he said, I don't even have to ask this because obviously you've got the books and things. And he said, that's really impressive, the amount you've done and the consistency and things. He said, so of course you can have no problems writing articles. I said, not really. But it was nice, So it's like a lot of what I already do answered so many questions. So the body of work speaks for itself nowadays. And so I think even without the opportunities before, it allowed me the time to just keep creating in the background anyway. So like I say, so a lot of what I do speaks for me before I even have to talk. That's quite a powerful position, That's quite powerful, isn't it? But again, that's come from the discipline of always being structured and saying, I need to achieve this, I need to achieve that, I need to achieve that. Like I said, I've still got the other books to come. And who knows what comes in the future. But yeah, so anyway, it all comes from discipline, of course. So I think we've touched on quite a bit there, and we've touched on our health habits with maybe the things we shouldn't be eating, but we can if in moderation. One of these a day ain't going to kill me, you know what I mean? Well, one wouldn't assume. But I guess if you sat there eating whole packets of things, you can't just expect your body to be able to process that and distribute around your body and, excrete waste and stuff. It's just going to get stuck in your body, isn't it? So it's up to us to say, that's not good for me. And it creates a habit. It becomes habitual. And again, all the other aspects of life too. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to people because that's all I ever want is to help people grow. I want people to see the potential in themselves. If you take me 10 years ago, I wouldn't have any of this. So where I see my future and the potential and what I'm leading to and the breakthroughs I'm creating for myself, like that opportunity through that magazine, okay, it's a paid partnership, but that came from the work I do that someone noticed me, that they reached out to me. Now, I'm not saying they only reach out to me because I've heard many examples of them reaching out to other people, but it'll be other people who have positioned themselves in that industry, whether they're at the beginning stages or further on. But the point is, by placing yourself there, it created that opportunity. That person reached out to me because I wasn't aware they existed. I wasn't even aware of TED Talks and things because I'm quite out of the loop. This isn't an industry I'm familiar with. I just do what I do because I feel called to do it and I want to help people. But I don't feel like I'm part of the industry. But I guess for me joining, for instance, this and actually committing to it, it's my way of stepping into the industry, isn't it? It's finally saying, okay, I see it now. I can see myself positioned within this quite prominently, to be totally honest. So where it says get inspired by influential leaders, top entrepreneurs, expert coaches, industry leaders, I fit in there. I even said to the guy though when I was talking to him, he said like, "What would you title yourself as?" I said, "Well, I don't really know." I said because I'm spiritual and I deal with personal growth and helping people, invest in themselves and get back to who they are and live their best life. I said, so I encompass everything rather than just one thing. I said, but I'd never liked the term life coach. I don't like the idea of that. I don't like to define myself as something. And then his answer, what his response was, well, at some point, maybe you will feel comfortable with those titles, with being with that. So maybe it's more of me not feeling valid I think really what it comes down to, I think it comes down to the fact that I've done the work and I know I've done it. I know I'm good at what I do, but I haven't seen the results in other people's lives. So it's hard for me to say I'm a coach when I haven't seen the results of teaching people. I think that's really what it comes down to. You know, you can't be how can you be a coach if you haven't coached people? But I mean, I've heard of success stories that don't, but in terms of like what that would be, I think it should be if it was more mainstream, more widespread, and I know I've impacted people's lives, then I could maybe feel a bit more comfortable with the term. But right now, I don't feel comfortable with it at all. So I have the potential, I think, for this. So if you say influential leaders, I think I have the potential to be an influential leader. I'm not saying I am. I have the potential to be. If you say top entrepreneurs, I have the potential to be a top entrepreneur. I mean, I'm self-made. This is me, you know. So this is self. Again, what we talked about career, and you know, in fact, you're working for someone else, and that's their dream. So that person at the very top, the one who created, that's the entrepreneur. Everybody else is just working for that person on the terms that they give them, and you don't really have options. Branching out and doing your own thing makes you an entrepreneur. Influential leaders is similar to coaches, but a leader, I guess, is just someone who has that platform they've created for themselves, and maybe they lead by example. But an expert coach is going to, and a coach is going to be someone who's a bit more first-hand, you know, getting their hands dirty to a degree and trying to help people out through things. And I feel that's what I do as well. So I feel like I can be an influential leader. I can be a top entrepreneur, and I can be an expert coach. Industry leaders, I mean, that's going to be depending on what industry you're in. So, I mean, that's very ambiguous, I think, that term in itself. So, influential leaders, industry leaders, what's really the difference, personally? But again, looking at the top of that, I thought I'm not there yet. I wouldn't say I am there yet, but the potential's there. And I think when I talk about potential, I don't think it's a case of anything more I need to do. I think it's just a case of my work catching up with people now. So I have the potential at any moment to become an influential leader just by for instance, the progress of my videos or the sales of my books. As soon as they hit a lot more people, all of a sudden I'm influential and I'm leading by example. So I'm an influential leader. At what point, let's say you're self-made, you made like the books are selling, I'm making a decent amount of money. Now I'm an entrepreneur. Now I'm a top entrepreneur, aren't I? It's self-made. And then again, expert coaches. If I'm helping people and I can give advice, that makes me an expert, doesn't it? Especially when you've got a niche. So anyway, it's up to us to take those leaps and find those avenues to explore to build something better and advance. Again, it all comes from discipline and structure. Anyway, hopefully this has been good. I didn't expect this video to be this long at all. I don't do it on purpose, honestly. I don't even mind if a video is 10 minutes. For some reason, they just end up going on and on and on, and I just think, bloody hell, we need it an hour again. It's quite maddening. But yeah, hopefully this has been helpful to people because again, I just want people. It's not about me all the time, you know. I have to share me as an example to show to raise that mirror to other people. But I want people just to step outside the shadow. Don't limit themselves in so many areas of life, and just like fulfill your own dreams and potential and be happy. Whenever you try and do something different, there'll always be noise around it. There'll always be people trying to devalue something and try to hold you back and criticize this, criticize that. They don't hold the same vision. It's okay. Just let the noise dissipate a bit, you know, just let it go. And it's like just hold your own vision for your own health, for our own ways of life, and also for our own career. And then see where it leads to. For me, I feel really fulfilled. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I feel lonely at times. It'd be nice to have a relationship, but I can't just be with just anyone. It wouldn't make me happy. I'd be miserable. The right person could really elevate my life and make me happy, and I could do new experiences, and I could just see it elevating beyond belief. That's something that's missing, but you can't force relationships, so that's life, isn't it? That's just one area I'd argue there. And finances are horrendous. But all these things could just happen out of nowhere, can't they? Things can increase here, things can increase there. I'm already fulfilled in career other than that. I feel really proud of what I'm doing. So, yeah, hopefully that is helpful to people.